All right, listen closely, because I'm about to share something that might just change the way you think about your health forever. Picture this: two men. They're both 45 years old, same height, same weight, and on paper, their stats are identical. But here's the kicker: one of them is thriving, smashing workouts at the gym, handling life's physical demands like it's no big deal. And the other? He's struggling. Every movement feels like a chore, and forget about opening a jar of pickles. His grip strength just isn't there. What's the difference between these two men? Is it genetics? Nope. Is it luck? Hardly. The truth is, the key isn't some magical secret. It's protein. That's right. Protein is the missing piece that separates someone who's crushing life in their 40s from someone who's barely holding it together. And here's the hard truth: 97% of men over 40 aren't eating nearly enough protein to fuel their bodies properly. Do you realize what that means? There's a damn good chance you're part of that 97%. This pathetic little slice of toast is what most guys are relying on every day to get them through. Meanwhile, the guy who's living his best life after 40 is fueling his body with protein-packed meals. The best part? You can do exactly what he's doing. But first, we need to talk about why this is such a problem. I'm going to break down how this protein deficiency sabotages your health, and I'm going to give you the tools you need to fix it. By the end of this video, you'll know more about protein than 99% of people out there, and you'll be armed with a plan you can actually use to take control of your health. Let's start with the cold, hard truth about aging and muscle loss, and why protein matters, especially for men over 40. Here's the deal: your body doesn't play fair after you hit 40. Around this age, something called sarcopenia starts to kick in. If you haven't heard of it before, sarcopenia is the technical term for age-related muscle loss. And let me tell you, it's no joke. On average, you lose about 1% of your muscle mass every year starting in your mid-30s. Do the math. That's a 20 to 30% drop in muscle strength by the time you hit 60, unless you step in to intervene. But wait, it gets worse. Alongside sarcopenia comes its evil twin, anabolic resistance. I know, the name sounds complicated, but here's the simple breakdown. Anabolic resistance is your body's way of saying, thanks for the protein, but I'm not really interested in using it anymore. As you age, your muscles become less efficient at repairing and building themselves, even when you're eating the right foods. So, if you were getting away with skimping on protein in your younger years, I've got bad news for you. Those days are officially over. From now on, your body needs more protein, not less, just to keep up with its natural demands. All right, so now that you understand why protein is so critical, let's answer the big question. How much protein do you actually need to turn things around? Here's where most guys get tripped up. The standard recommendation for adults is 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. For example, a 180-pound man would need roughly 65 grams of protein per day. Sounds reasonable, right? Wrong. If you're trying to maintain or build muscle as you age, research shows you need closer to 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram. For that same 180-pound guy, that means consuming anywhere from 130 to 180 grams of protein daily. And here's the scary part: most men aren't even close. Studies show the average guy over 40 eats somewhere between 70 and 80 grams of protein per day. That's barely half of what you actually need. So, is it any wonder why so many men wake up one morning, look in the mirror, and wonder what happened to their strength, their muscle tone, their vitality? They're starving their muscles, one day at a time. Now, let's talk about why this happens. Why are so many men falling short when it comes to protein intake? There are 4 big reasons. First, skipping breakfast or eating the wrong kinds of breakfast is a major culprit. Raise your hand if your morning routine looks like this. Roll out of bed, grab a coffee, maybe a dry bagel, and call it breakfast. Second, relying on convenience foods is a major trap. Protein bars and shakes might seem appealing, but they're often loaded with sugar and fillers. Sure, they can save you time, but they can't even begin to compete with real whole food options. Third, if you follow a plant-based diet, you've got to be extra mindful about how you combine your proteins. Beans, lentils, and tofu are great staples, but alone, they don't always provide all the essential amino acids your body needs. Finally, there's a lack of planning. If you don't have protein-rich meals lined up ahead of time, guess what happens? You're tired, hungry, and grabbing whatever's easiest, probably something carb-heavy that isn't doing you any favors. All right, enough of the doom and gloom. Imagine for a second that you start fueling your body with the protein it actually craves. What happens next? First, your workouts totally transformed. You've got more energy, stamina, and faster recovery times. Soreness? That's no longer dominating your life. And let's talk about your muscles. They grow stronger and denser, giving you the edge in fat burning and metabolism boosting. But here's the real kicker. Protein does so much more than just build muscle. It supports your immune system, strengthens your bones, and even helps regulate your blood sugar. In other words, getting enough protein isn't just a matter of looking good. It's about feeling good, inside and out. So how do you fix your protein problem? Step 1. Calculate your protein goal. Figure out your weight in kilograms by dividing pounds by 2.2. Then multiply that number by 1.6 to 2.2 grams. That's your daily intake target. Step 2. Spread your protein across meals. Aim for 30 to 40 grams per meal. Eggs for breakfast, chicken for lunch, salmon for dinner. It's not rocket science. Just plan ahead. Step 3. Use supplements wisely. Whey protein is a game changer. But if dairy isn't your thing, there are vegan options like pea protein. Just make sure you're picking high-quality products. Step 4. Prep like a pro. Trust me, pre-portioning your protein-heavy snacks saves you tons of trouble during the week. Want proof that this works? Meet Joe. Joe is 47 years old, and last year he was stuck in a rut, working out religiously but seeing no progress. His problem? He was eating just 80 grams of protein a day. After bumping his intake to 150 grams daily and fine-tuning his resistance training, Joe gained 5 pounds of lean muscle, dropped 8 pounds of fat, and told me he felt like he was 30 again. Want those results? Start prioritizing your protein. Every day you neglect your protein needs, you're nudging yourself closer to weakness and frailty. And let me tell you, that's not a path you want to walk. But the good news? Fixing this doesn't take massive effort. It's about consistency, not perfection. Start today. Swap out that bagel for eggs. Add a scoop of whey to your smoothie. Small changes make big impacts. And if this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let's crush those stats together. Remember, men over 40 can dominate the game, so go feed those muscles. A stronger, healthier you is waiting.